Hi, my name is Bethan and thank you for clicking on this video. If you don't know me, I live with a condition called cystic fibrosis, which is both chronic and life-threatening, and I document my journey with the condition on this YouTube channel. This is a video I've been meaning to make for a long time. It's definitely the most nerve-wracking video I've ever filmed, and I have attempted to film it on numerous occasions, but that's also why it's the most important video that I film. I've received so many comments over the past couple of years asking if I am taking any of the new gene modulator drugs, Symkevi, Kalydeco or Trikafta, all of which are the first drugs to treat the root cause of cystic fibrosis as opposed to just treating the symptoms. And in doing so, they have the potential to dramatically change the lives of people with CF and also extend their life expectancy. It's taken me so long to address because I am quite frankly terrified to share my true thoughts, and I was adamant that I wouldn't share a lie, so I have remained silent. When I received Symkevi, the first gene modulator drug I was offered, whilst everyone online expressed their overwhelming joy, I felt dread, and I haven't been able to talk about it until now because I felt so guilty and ashamed for feeling anything other than gratitude for this life-saving drug that so many people fundraised and researched and poured their lives into creating for people like me. And at that time I was desperate to find just one other person on the internet who shared my feelings of nervousness or apprehension, and I'm yet to come across this video. But I've come to realise that I'm not alone. There are people out there who feel this way, and I don't want anyone to have to suffer in silence the way I did. There is nothing wrong with you. It's okay to be honest with your family and friends and CF team about the way you're feeling. Since opening up to the people close to me, I felt so much lighter, because whereas I feared being met with hostility, being accused of being ungrateful, I have been met with nothing but compassion and understanding, and I hope that anyone watching this can feel empowered to be honest with the people close to them too. I'm now going to show you a video I filmed in March of 2020, the night before starting Symkevi. At this time, I effectively believed that I was dying. My health had declined extremely rapidly in the space of a couple of years, and I didn't think I had many left. And as the title suggests, when met with this life-saving drug instead of joy, I felt terror. So here's that video. It's extremely heavy, raw, and for me hard to watch. But I think it's important to show that raw footage instead of trying to articulate to you now how I felt at that time, because nothing can truly show my internal conflict and turmoil better than, you know, the authentic footage from that night. So here it is. I hope it's somewhat coherent. This video is going to be me talking about how I feel about the new cystic fibrosis drugs. First it was Kalydeco, then it was Orkambi, then it was Symkevi, and now the new one on the market is Trikafta, but I don't yet have access to that. The one I now hold in my bedroom that has been approved in the UK is Symkevi. Can you see that? Which you take with Kalydeco. And I have thought so much about how I'm going to approach this video, how I'm going to justify myself, everything. But I realised that I just need to start speaking, and hopefully by the end of the video you won't think I'm a nut job. The long and short of the matter, and the reason I haven't yet addressed it on my channel, despite people commenting and asking if I'm taking the drugs, is that I don't feel how I should, or I think I should feel about them. On Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, I have seen nothing but positivity And I am truly, truly happy for everyone who now has access to these drugs, and I realise how much money and research and time went into developing these drugs. And I'm excited for everyone in the CF community. The problem, and I know it's messed up, is that I don't share that same excitement. And you may be thinking, because I've had this response a lot, oh, I understand, you don't want to get your hopes up in case it doesn't work. I wish that was the case. But the truth of the matter is that I'm not scared it won't work. I am terrified that it will. If all goes to plan, they will extend my life beyond the current, life expectancy for people with CF, which is around 40 years old. I guess I'm gonna start from the beginning. I hear a lot of people with CF talking about their story and talking about when they found out the severity of CF and the fact that it was life-limiting. I didn't have one of those moments. As far as I'm aware, I just grew up with that knowledge. There was a video that used to be given to people, new parents of kids who had been diagnosed, called Sammy's Story, and it explained everything about CF. And there was a section in it where Sammy says, I think about dying from time to time, and they play this gospel music and angels come down and carry Sammy out of the bed into heaven. And then the video carries on like nothing happened. So yeah, I knew that it would end my life eventually. And there was a time at the age of around 6 where that was really tough for me, and I used to cry myself to sleep at night because I didn't understand. I thought that I might just fall asleep and not wake up. And my mum would try and tell me that it doesn't work like that, but I didn't get it. But once I got over that blip, life carried on pretty seamlessly. And then I became a teenager and I started taking on more responsibility for my treatments. So I was about 12 at this point, not so much a teenager, a tween. And I realised very quickly that the workload involved in taking care of myself was really hard, and I was really struggling with it. The medical professionals in my life, my family, everyone was concerned, everyone knew I wasn't doing things the way I was supposed to be. And I was very much led to believe that things were black and white, that doing my treatments meant survival and not doing them meant death. And that was really hard to deal with. The guilt I felt that I wasn't trying hard enough to save myself was so immense, but I just didn't seem capable of doing it. It was just hard. If I'm to do everything the way it's prescribed by the hospital, I'd be spending hours every day doing my treatments, and it's a big workload. So yeah, I was struggling. And then somewhere along the line of those 3, maybe 4 years of being in hospital constantly and me trying to say, I can't do it alone, I realised that the support I felt I needed wasn't actually an option. It wasn't available to me at the time. That's not anyone's fault, that's just the reality. To do everything I was supposed to be doing, I would have needed like a full-time carer. And it wasn't an option. And I didn't feel able to manage my own care. So at one point, eventually, I came to the conclusion that I was going to die and it was going to be my fault, and I would have to live with that. And that was that. So then I carried on waiting to die, because that's what I believed would happen. And it's worth mentioning at this point that throughout my childhood and adolescence, up until now, I'm now 21, I've struggled a lot with depression, depressive episodes, low mood, whatever you want to call it. So if I add that to the mix, you have to consider that for most people, survival is just, I don't know, it comes naturally. You just carry on every day, your body just carries on doing its thing. With CF, every day you have to make the decision to live. It doesn't come naturally. Every time you take a medication, take a treatment, you are choosing to live. So, throughout my many years, my teens, I realised that I could stop trying. I guess you could phrase it as being casually suicidal, because I did not have to actively take my own life. By doing nothing, I was casually suicidal and my life would end, as I hoped it would. But that wasn't always the case. I didn't always want to die. I don't want to die. I guess I went through so many different periods of hope and despair, but ultimately, instead of the fear my death brought for my 6-year-old self, as time went on and I struggled more and more with my mental health, the prospect of my limited life expectancy became a comfort to me. So then when these new drugs came on the scene, it terrified me. I am not saying anything in the right order. I don't know how to articulate this, but it's just occurred to me that I should add another bit of context to this story. Because I grew up believing not just because of the medication, whether I did or didn't do my medication, I believe my life expectancy was limited anyway. It is limited anyway. So I never planned a life ahead of my teenage years. I never expected for my education to mean anything, for me to go to uni, to have a partner, children, a family, to get married. None of that was in my plan for life. So to have got to the age of 21 was terrifying in itself. I know how I should feel. I know that I should take every year as a blessing. But I didn't plan to be here. And I don't know if I want to be. So, here we are. It's present day. And for the most part, I thought I was in a good place. Until the reality that these drugs were approved and would be given to me came about, and it turns out that I'm not as okay as I thought I was, and I'm terrified. So where I'm at now is that I am going to live as if everything that's available to other people is available to me. I've been trying to imagine what it might be like for me to meet someone and have a family and a career that I enjoy which really is a beautiful thing and isn't something to be feared. It just wasn't the plan. I like plans. So tomorrow I'm going to be taking Simveki and Kaftrio. Thank you for watching. If you've made it this far, I know that that was heavy and I stopped it early because I was really struggling and I was struggling to articulate how I was feeling. But I hope you got the gist of the kind of turmoil I was experiencing at that time. I promise this second half is going to be lighter because I would really love to share with you how my life has changed for the better since starting the drugs, and hopefully give some of you a bit of hope if you are in that phase of just being utterly terrified. So just a couple weeks after filming that video, I actually opened my heart to the prospect of a relationship. I started dating my now boyfriend, and when the UK went into its first COVID lockdown, I moved in with him and his family. And I have remained here for the whole pandemic. I am still here, and for the first time I am able to imagine a future for myself that includes all of the things I mentioned in that video I had never imagined. In August of 2020 I was told that I would need to undergo eradication treatment for a chest infection called non-tuberculosis mycobacterium, which is an antibiotic resistant superbug, which is not good news. I was told that the chances of getting rid of it a second time round, because I've already done this before, it's extremely slim. So at that time I once again thought that this was going to be the end for me. I thought, oh my goodness, I've allowed myself to get into a relationship and now I might be dying again. And what have I done? But when I started that induction in October, I also started the newer drug, Trikafta, and that has changed things more than anyone could have ever imagined or hoped. It's made the treatment so much more successful, to the point that, as far as I'm aware, I have eradicated it. I'm going to be on this treatment for a good couple years yet, just to make sure it's absolutely gone, but it's looking really good. And despite still being on all of those medications, I feel healthier than I have in years. Since I was a small child, my lung function is higher than it's been in about 10 years, and I can do things that I haven't been able to do ever, really. Also, when I started uni 3 years ago, I didn't expect to live long enough to graduate, and if I did, I certainly didn't think I would be able to use my degree for anything meaningful, because I didn't think I'd be well enough to have a career. Now that I'm at the end of my second year and doing so well, I'm having to give this some serious thought. So instead of going straight into my final year of uni, I'm actually going to be taking a placement year in order to gain experience and build my CV to hopefully set myself up for my newfound future. I really could go on and on about all the ways my life has changed since starting Trikafta, but I hope that I've given you a little bit of a taste of the fact that things do get better. And if you have any questions or would like to see a more detailed video about my life now, I would love to make that, so please do comment down below. But if you're still early on in your Trikafta journey, maybe you haven't started it yet, or you've been taking it for a few months and you're still just struggling to get to grips with your new lifestyle or life expectancy, that's completely okay. I was so lucky to receive this drug at the time of life I did. If I was given Trikafta in some of my darkest times, I don't think I would have taken it. I haven't even delved into the aspects around personal identity, which is huge. As I became more unwell through my teens, my ill health became so core to my identity. This whole YouTube channel is about my life as someone with a chronic life-threatening illness, and now that I haven't been in hospital since starting it, I have so much less to say on that front, and I'm having to navigate what sort of content I might produce in the future. I think I lost myself a little whilst being so unwell, and it's been a really wonderful journey actually to rediscover who I am fundamentally, aside from my illness and my disability. I'm going to wrap this video up here because I know it's been a long one, but I would love to keep this conversation going. So please do comment or get in touch via Instagram DM. I'd love to hear your experiences with Trikafta, Sunkevi or Kalideco, whether it's been a positive or negative one for you, the mental health effects, the physical effects. I'm interested in hearing it all and opening up that discussion. I just want to leave you with a message that whatever you're feeling, be it utter exhilaration or pure terror, you're allowed to feel the way you feel. Your feelings are valid, there's nothing wrong with you, and you should be allowed to be honest about those feelings. No one should have to feel like they can't speak up like I did in that clip you've just seen. Okay, wow, I said it. Here we go, I'm finished. I hope that that was helpful for someone watching this, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Subscribe for a follow-up, I suppose. Give it a like if this was somewhat helpful, and I look forward to hearing from some of you soon. See you later, alligators. Bye.